Hey, it's Noah, and today I want to quickly demo my Oasis C++ medical device software. Um, Basically, what you're looking at is the GUI here, and this is to simulate a medical device. The device itself would be a shock therapy device where you would connect these clips to your earlobes, your left and right, and administer like a small shock over time that's supposed to have relaxing effects. So this GUI replaces that physical device, and it's kind of a simulation where you could test the software to make sure everything's working correctly. So on the right side, you have an admin panel. This is to simulate various events while you're doing the electric therapy. So say if you were doing the therapy and you're 10 seconds in and all of a sudden the connection level drops to low, what would happen in that situation? The software is supposed to handle that. So this simulates it. Same thing if like an ear clip detached, like the left one, what would happen if the left one fell off? What should happen in the software? And then if you resume the session, how should that work? This is to simulate that. This one is just to reset the battery level. So like if you're to change the batteries, get it back up to 100%. The console displays various things, just information to show you what would happen, make sure everything's working correctly. So what I'll go through is just the main use case here. So you start by powering on the device. It will display the battery level. Battery's full. You select a user. So I'll just select user one. I'll select alpha waves and I'll select a 45-minute session. For the simulation, it's not in minutes, it's just seconds, so you don't have to wait a long time to see what goes on. And then I'll hit start. And what you'll see is session now in progress. It shows the connection. The connection's high, so it's good. You can start the session. And you'll see in about 10 seconds, the battery level will appear. So see, it's 8. It hasn't drained yet. That's because the intensity hasn't been adjusted. So you're at 0. You're not feeling anything yet. So if I up the intensity to 8, now you're feeling the shock. And you'll see the battery shows it's draining slowly. We'll wait till it ticks one more time. And you'll see it keeps draining. You can hit the save session box here. What that will do is at the end of the session, it will save your parameters so you don't have to enter it again for the specific user. So we'll see it's showing the battery, and once the 45 seconds is up, you'll see it soft offs, meaning it just drops the intensity, once every step until it goes to 0. That way it doesn't just go from full intensity to nothing. It'll kind of slowly fade away. It also, you can see in the console that the session has been recorded. So that means is if we power on, we can see the battery level. It's drained a little bit since our first test. Now, if we hit select user, you'll see the sessions here, and we can select the session. It'll autofill the parameters here, and then you can just start where you left off. See? And the intensity also stays the same. So our max intensity, we're at 8. And you'll see it'll go through here, and the battery will keep draining. So yeah, that's just the basic use case. Now I can go into a little bit more detail here, maybe with some specific events, like what would happen if you just powered off the device before the session ever ended. What happens? Well, as you can see, it tells you the device powered off forcefully, session stopped. If you turn it on, it will work as expected. The battery's still drained, everything still works, and you could select your user. You can even set different time here. So I can do a user designated, and I can set it for 10 seconds, just have a quick little session. Hit set, it's 10 seconds, and I can hit start. I can up the intensity, and this will just go for a quick 10 seconds, draining the battery once. You'll see it'll soft off, device powers off again. You resume, see the battery levels there. What would happen if you were to, let's just select user 3? You'll see that the session's not there. That's because the session that we saved belongs to user 1. So for user 3, and we did something like want a delta, we wanted 25 seconds, but we didn't attach our left ear clip, you try to start the session, well, you can't because the ear clip needs to be attached. So you reattach your ear clip, now you can start your session. Now what happens if you're in a session and the connectivity goes low? Yeah, it warns you. So the stimulus may be too faint to feel because the connection level is poor. And so you can see it'll still tick through. Not draining the battery though because we have the intensity set at 0. But then if you fix that connection level, now it's high, so you have a perfect connection strength. Yep, and now if you hit power, you'll see the battery level still is there, but we can turn this off and we could reset the power, and now the battery's up, and you can do all the testing again. But yeah, that's the bulk of the functionality. There's little fringe edge cases too, which are covered. Feel free, you can check out the GitHub and test it for yourself. If you're curious about the code, I recommend that you go check out the GitHub repo. It'll have all the files, and you can even test it if you'd like by downloading Qt Creator and opening the Oasis Pro file as a project. You can configure it with default settings it provides, and you should be able to click in the bottom left here, this play button, and test everything you saw in the video, or go a little deeper if you want. I'll just give you a quick little overview of the code, at least the structure, so you can get an idea where to look if you're curious how something works. So the device, session, and user classes all work together to basically do the backend meet functionality of everything, where the main window class facilitates the connection between the GUI and the backend, as well as altering the GUI based off of the state of the backend. So if you'd like, you could go through um, main window, the header file here, and you can see this is where actual devices instantiated. So when the constructor for main window is called in main, it will call the constructor for the device, and everything will get initialized with the correct values, like the um, stored users array will get initialized, the current session will get allocated as well, the timers will get initialized, and everything should work correctly based off of this. Um, Now, when you do certain events, signals will get emitted, which will tell the device to alter its state. So you can see some here. You can like a set power on function. This will get triggered by a signal, and then it emits its own signals as well. A send to console signal. So that's what you saw in the demo in the console. The device powered off when you turn it off was because of this signal. It also can emit a critically low, which I didn't show off, but you can test it yourself. Once the battery gets low enough, it'll go critically low and let you know, and eventually it'll turn off and stop working. There's a bunch of other functions in here. This is a big one, the start session. So when you hit start, what happens? It basically does a bunch of checks based off of a bunch of flags here to determine kind of which state you're in. And then it'll emit when a session started, and it'll start the timers and the depletion timer, so the battery starts to deplete and everything. So yeah, that's just a little surface level of it. There's definitely a lot more to it, a lot more edge cases which get covered by the software. You could check out this code along with the documentation file I have in the repo if you want to get a better idea of the whole program structure. There's a UML diagram in there which will show you all the classes and their variables and functions. You can also go and look at the sequence diagrams or the activity diagrams to get a better idea of the program control flow.